So I've been going back and forth, like I think the past week, over things where I felt unappreciated, where certain things that I set in motion, which got hijacked by others, and they are riding that pedestal, which I didn't mind. But then they turned around and sort of viewed me as just part of the crowd, you know. And I think that was a moment of entitlement on my behalf, where I felt like I deserve more, right? And the reality is there is a lot more uh, that I have yet to unleash, and I know this. So yeah, I did feel like a lot of people were very, very ungrateful, and the gratitude that I'm talking about is the one of opportunism, not just opportunism but greed, where you're given something, which is what I was doing. You're given something, and you capitalize on that something, and you don't even think or acknowledge uh, what started that the trajectory that you're on, be you a woman or be you a girl or whatever. But I think this was me thinking small. This was me losing sight of the bigger picture. So I was dormant, right? I was dormant for a long time. There was a video I made about education, the audio. There were so many mistakes, and I think it was like an entire hour, right? And it was completely useless. And when I tried to do the retake thing, since I'm not a person that does transcripts or reads from pre written speeches and stuff, uh, the heart wasn't in it, right? And I just felt, you know, I don't ask for much, and I don't force people to agree with me. As a matter of fact, I I quite like people who disagree, who have factual, uh, knowledgeable disagreements against whatever, right? Not just disagree because of him, right? And of course, I had to deal with things like um, what tribe I am, the fact that I'm black, uh, all that stuff. While I was having a really difficult moment where I was sort of trying to get to a certain place, and the people that were supposed to help me hijacked me, and this this led to me not to be paranoid, but to be less trusting, uh, put me in a position where I feel everyone should show uh, why I should trust them, right? The whole, oh, nobody just does this, that's old, that's forgotten. Those old tricks don't work anymore, especially when, I open my eyes and this is where I'm at, right? And the core mission of it, um, it was just me. It was just me trying to find a way to reach out to someone, to express to someone. It was me. It was me giving all of me to her, right? And of course, that got hijacked. Rumors, side chicks, or whatever they call that stuff. I don't even know what that stuff is. I don't indulge it. I'm not part of society as such. And, dealing with the fact that I got kicked out. And that hurt me the most. Because, like I always say, the one you love the most is the one that can completely destroy you in an instant without even flinching, right? So that got lost, and it became something that was bigger than me. So I decided to take up that mantle. I decided to be that person. But deep inside, I still, I still just wanted to gain acknowledgement from her, right? To to sort of set the record straight, since it's all public and whatever, and people don't know how it started and yada yada yada. To sort of take away all the human materialistic bound attributes of everything, and just show this woman that I love her and have loved her no matter what, right? Trying to empower her, trying to move away the insecurities while I'm battling people who are belittling me, putting me down, telling me this is what this means, you're crazy, this person, she's living her life, she doesn't care about you, you're obsessed, blah blah blah, yada yada yada. So, it's been quite a spiral in my head, right? When someone that you love with your entire being decides to just cut you off, outcast you, and treat everybody else better or differently, it stings. It hurts. I'm a human being. I hurt. Alright, that element of me hurting was completely nullified because of the things that I was involved in and so forth. And for now, I just don't care. Using the back door and all of that stuff, I just don't care. You know, there's only so much. There's only so much that you can give a person until you completely forget about yourself, right? And it isn't her fault, it's my own persistence to show my devotion, right? So, you know, it's whatever. You know, if there isn't dialogue, there isn't dialogue. Why should I force it? Alright? It is what it is. So I'll move on to the other things that I want to address or undress. You know, apart from my personal stuff. I'm very non-materialistic. Like, material things are not exactly what shows me value. Like, a fancy car is not something that I'll be in awe of. I might be in awe, like I'm a Porsche fan. I'll be in awe of the ingenuity, how it works, you know, how they reduce emissions, fuel consumption, and all of that. That's the kind of person I am. But a person that just falls for a car because it's a car, that's not the type of person I am. And that non-materialistic side of me does tend to confuse people who, you know, who have bought into this market of being material beings, right? You show by, you know, you show what you have. You know, like last time my dad parked the car outside. I parked the car outside. I was on my way to whatever, and the perception that was gotten was, okay, yeah, you know, they're parking the cars outside to show that they have cars, which isn't the case. It was just a freaking coincidence, right? Who cares? I know I don't, right? But it isn't really about me. I have come to terms that my mindset is different from a lot of people, and I accept it. Will I find someone that is willing to take the challenge? And of course, I'm speaking of a female companion that is willing to take the challenge to confront me. And when I say confront me, I'm not saying be all up in my face and be like, no, but just have dialogue with me without some sort of intimidation factor. You know, getting to know me as a person as opposed to you know, theories or misconceptions, or maybe he's like this or ABC and what and what and what and what and what, right? And that got me to sort of stand back and look at the world, look at how the world runs, and then sort of try to look at where I fit into this world. Because what I do, alright, I set the foundation, I set the platform, and I believe in the people to make it work. And when there is a problem, then I do intervene. But mostly I trust people. That's one of my things. I trust people to actually believe in themselves, right? Um, I myself have self-doubt. I don't believe in myself a lot too. I'll be the first to admit that. But I do gain a lot of energy from people that believe in themselves, that strive when the platform is given, and that use it accordingly. And I do cut off those with malicious, ulterior motive. And I do this pragmatically, right, with no feelings. I just cut that off completely. I dim that light, right, because the world isn't made equal, right? The world isn't made equal, and that's something that we all have to, we have to embrace it. The world isn't made equal. Now, when it comes to our country, we have a big gap between the haves and the have-nots. But have is not completely defined, right? And not is not completely defined. So what needs to happen is a change in the mindset of our societies, right? This was the reason for the Silver Jubilee, where everyone, irrespective of their party affiliation, whatever, went to go celebrate Namibia's independence. Namibia's independence as a democratic state. Alright? But I've decided to not allow the shackles of the past to hold me back from creating new alliances that are progressive, right? Because I understand, due to our history, there is a lot of bitterness. There is a lot of that is the enemy, ABC, whatever. But the way I see it, if we are to be progressive, then we have to stop preaching the narrative of the past. And this is happening, yes, but at some point I feel like it's being misinterpreted. It's being misinterpreted as something that only certain individuals are compatible with. There is that saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, which is completely false. It just means that the trainer isn't good. A very, very good trainer will teach an old dog new tricks, right? So the inclusivity needs to be open to the problems that we face, as well as trying yeah, to take the solutions from the community and presenting it in a format that makes sense with our current systems that we have in place, right? Because the people that will save us are us. We are the ones that will save us. And a change of mindset needs to happen. We need to realize that we are moving. And by bringing back old narratives, it holds the movement. Alright? So it's a movement, whether we lose or we win, but it's a movement of unity. And we also have to understand that our country is divided up by tribe and race. And this goes into people's psyche. It literally goes into people's psyche, whereby they would say, no, only a member of a certain tribe would be capable of doing such a deed. Or members of a certain race are heartless and don't really care about the country as a whole, right? So the new narrative is a narrative of armoring our generations, irrespective of their color, creed, religion, where they come from, whatever, armoring them from the negativities that are birthed of the past. Because we cannot understand the present situations if we use the past as the yardstick. We can't. And we need to understand that we are entering a digital revolution. Right? Now, the digital revolution, what it has the whole globe, trying to figure out how to control it, because it gives people access to all sorts of information, bad information, good information. It gives things like ISIS the platform to turn one of their events into the headline that the world sees, moving away from the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is the citizens of our planet. We are in an age where there is global warming. But what is global warming? How does it affect us? And secondly, we need to start thinking not only of leaving a legacy for our own kin, our own families, but legacies for our nation. Alright? We have been dominated and divided so many times in history, and now we are divided on party politics, right? And this should not be the case. It's not progressive because our parties are tribally based. So a lot of things need to evolve, but the only way they can evolve is if the mindset of the people evolves along. And this is the hardest part. It's very difficult to convince a bigot. But then let's put the spotlight on the bigot. Right? So that they can see themselves. And the impact that they have on our society, because our society is becoming a win or lose society, which should not be the case. And I think when it comes to poverty eradication, as our president put out all-out war on poverty eradication. First, let's understand poverty in the Namibian context. Right? It's social. Second, let us try to empower our citizenry with knowledge, with information, with understanding, so that they know poverty is something you go through. Right? Poverty is something you go through. I have looked at other countries and they are worse off than Namibia, but the gap of wealth distribution is due to corruption and looting. That's why that gap is so vast, because someone comes in your area and they set up a mine. How do the community then benefit from the profits of that mine? How? They don't. So we're being blindsided. We're being blindsided, and we feel it's a war we cannot win because we refuse to put our foot down. And here's the thing, going on strikes and all of that stuff, it does put pressure on certain institutions that are not being fair. But there is another solution. Instead of using all that funds that the unions have, investing in the proper lawyers to evaluate the entire scenario and present this to government so that the government can intervene, and they can. Let's start to think broadly. Let's start to think smartly. Let us not undermine ourselves, as I see, people undermine themselves. I'm guilty of that too. Let that stop. We are a small population, and in that we are a small population, we finally have the opportunity to ensure that the next generation does not grow up with the traumatic events that the previous and the current generation is growing up with. We have to be progressive. And what's more, we have to be daring. And what's more, enough is enough of pleasing officers. There is that tendency whereby the office above the other one doesn't really want to offend the one below it, right? Because they don't want to seem bossy or forceful or dictatorial or whatever. That needs to end. This is the era of transformation. So yes, this is the administration that we have right now. A no-nonsense administration. That means they will personally intervene when there is corruption, nepotism, or cronyism. They will intervene. Our anti-corruption has no backbone, but they will intervene. It's not about being liked, it's about getting the job done. We cannot build the Namibian house if we keep compromising. It will be a weak building. So no more compromises. And let us take our best deal ne? Our best deal negotiators, to be the ones that negotiate deals for Namibia so that we don't end up with almost nothing at the end of the day. It's the era of transformation that is not asking for permission. Alright? There is no permission being asked. Things will change, and they will change for the better. When the things have changed for the better at the top level, they will change for the better mid-level, lower level, and as you go down below. We need to start treating our citizens as people. There are people who they are at substance abuse, but where are the facilities to help them overcome this? And then the stigma that surrounds this, that needs to end. No more listening to empty cans making a lot of noise. Enough. Let them make noise. That's what these are for. The headphones. Noise reduction. Let them make their noise. We know where we're going. We know where the march leads. It's prosperity. But what then? What after prosperity? After prosperity is maintaining and also learning what it took, how to preserve it, and then how to improve upon it. This includes institutions of higher learning that are not being helped by the government to accommodate more of our grade 12s matriculants who don't quite make it to the so-called higher learning institutions. Right? We need to build the self-esteem of the Namibian citizen. We need to reinstill pride in the Namibian citizen. This is our country, it's all we have. We have been through so much, 3 wars, imagine. And still we're here. Let's look into the world. Look at all the alternatives, the cheaper alternatives for building materials, the cheaper alternatives for what? All of the proposals that were being given. Let's look at them, let's analyze them, and let's see how we can benefit from them. It's a developing nation. That means let's develop it. Fancy buildings and all of that is not development. This is Namibia's time. Namibia's time is now. And I don't need permission from anyone. but I am going to elevate Namibia. Yes, I said that. Call me a narcissist, call me boastful, but I am going to elevate Namibia to heights that most did not think possible, because I believe in Namibia, and I believe our allies and the allies that we are making also have a vested interest in Namibia. I'm not stupid. I cannot be politic. That's what most people think. Oh no, he's being politic. They are doing ABC to him to make him feel good, and he keeps going on. I know what's going on. I spent days and nights studying this stuff. Please. Almost hand forward. Salute.